Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. It is Wednesday, March 27th, when you guys are getting this. And before we start rambling on today's topic, like always, if you are watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Audible or Spotify or iTunes, there's a little subscribe button. If you could please press that bad boy, and you'll get notified right when we drop a new episode, and it'll help us grow this thing through you guys. And then secondly, if this has helped you or you know somebody that this podcast could help in any way, shape, or form, share it with them, send it to them, and we will keep on cranking these babies out for you guys. Now, today, peoples, we wanted to talk to you. I know we went over kind of mindset stuff the past few weeks with you, and today we want to get back into workout mode and kind of what it means to be healthy and what it means to take care of yourself. And being a healthy individual, you know, there are many facets to this. And you can be a great runner, but you could be somebody who's physically weak in the gym. Just like you can be strong as an ox in the gym, be able to, push a car. But if we ask you to run 5 miles, you kind of peter out in the first 3 minutes and you're not able to do it. And so today we want to talk about when you are getting in shape, how important it is to almost have all your T's crossed and I's dotted and able to be a capable human being in all facets, right? You don't want to be so one-dimensional that the other 4 or 5 areas slack, because that means you're only good at one thing. So how do you kind of bridge that gap and fully immerse yourself into everything and be good at a little bit of everything and able to be capable at doing a lot of things at once? And what was that show called, Ev?
The Physical 100.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it yet.
Awesome. It's on Netflix. It's Korea, I believe. South Korea.
It's like
this. Basically, which is so cool, which is what got us on this topic. It's basically like this fitness competition, and they do a bunch of physical tasks, but they're people from all over, or all different backgrounds. There's like Instagram models, there's bodybuilders, there's firefighters, there's CrossFitters, there's a sumo wrestler, there's actors, and it's all people who have a great physique, but they all have attained them from different ways, right? There's like luge, like Olympic medalists, but not like from gymnastics or something that involves a lot of stuff. It's like lugers was a big one. MMA fighters. There's just like a million different occupations, and it all involves, your physical body. And it's basically a competition to see who is actually the fittest out of all of it. And it kind of shines a whole lot of light on the whole double standard of what health is. I think they become like synonymous as skinny and healthy, not being fat, not being obese, but that's not the case. You can be. There was one guy, and I watched. Well, I'm probably halfway through season 2, and I watched the whole first season. And like the guy who was like in the top 3 or whatever had a pretty quote unquote standard looking body. Like you could tell he had like arms and shoulders, but he had like a belly. It's not like he was like completely shredded. And he beat this world-class MMA fighter in Korea who was like, when he walked into the stadium, the whole place was like, oh my God. It'd be like if Conor McGregor was competing in like ours, even though he's Irish, but he's a celebrity here, right? So he's a big celebrity in Korea. So when he walked in, they were all like, I'm competing against this guy? And he's completely shredded and jacked and all of this stuff. He has these amazing camps. He's a professional MMA fighter, and kind of like world renowned. Anyway, he came in like 20th, 21st, and it's just kind of super interesting to see it's more than just looking like what actually is health, and it's just such an awesome show. We started talking about it a little bit, and it's there's a lot to learn from it, I think.
I watched the first episode and then started. So there's 2 seasons. There's season 1, which I didn't even know existed, and I guess season 2 just came out. And I watched the first episode and like the first 5 minutes of the second one. But the first one, they have probably, what was it, like 100 treadmills, and all that they have to do is compete for distance. So there's 100 people on these 100 treadmills, and they take the top 50% move on. Bottom 50 are cut out. Then they take, I think it's like the top 50 of that until the end. There's only like, I think like 10 people that make it. But anyways, you see these people get on these treadmills, and you're like, oh, the guy that's jacked from head to toe that looks like Hercules, like he's just going to be a machine. But the dude, I mean, he was like probably like, gotta be, I mean, he was like 6'3", 2'4". I mean, he was like jacked. And the guy was like struggling hard. And he was just getting torched by people. And it was weird because the people that you see that have like super low body fat, super broad shoulders, they couldn't run for the life of them. And then meanwhile, the people that, like you said, maybe look less, what's the word I'm looking for? Aesthetically, gifted compared to that guy, are able to get on the
Right.
treadmill and be able to just go, yeah, I can bang this out, no freaking problem. So I only watched the
Yeah.
first one, and then there's like these competitions that they keep doing where they go, okay, we got cardio covered. Let's see who can push this the longest, who can pull this the longest, who can do this. And it's just very interesting to see that the people that you think on paper are the strongest or look the healthiest or have the lowest percent body fat are sometimes the least capable in terms of their cardio, in terms of being able to do high intensity stuff. They might be strong as hell, but when you ask, this person to run or do this or push this or jump here to jump there, they just kind of completely bottom out because they're too big. And I think with a lot of people getting in healthy, getting in shape, all of us want to look good, right? If you asked 1,000,000 people and you surveyed them, do you want to have a 6-pack abs or do you want a beer belly? Everybody's going to say, give me the 6-pack abs instantly. But you don't want to become so one dimensional that you lose your capability. And one of the things I've mentioned with people, especially as we get older, the goal of getting healthy, the goal of getting in shape is to do the things that you want to do in life as long as possible in your later years. And you mentioned this on one of the last ones ever. You're like, I don't want to be the person that relies on people to help take a dock out or do something like that. But if you're not able to reach, you're not able to pull, you're not able to get up on the ladder, pull shit out of your attic if you need to, push a mower, whatever it is, you're kind of losing what the end goal is in terms of your fitness. So, yes, you can be strong. Yes, you can look fantastic. Yes, you can have jacked arms and look great. But if it's at the expense of, well, I'm not able to do this, this, and this, and this, you're kind of losing the principle of what it takes or why you want to actually end up being a healthy individual in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. That's why this show was so cool. I haven't seen the whole season 2 yet, but in season 1, spoiler alerts, not one bodybuilder who's the quote unquote peak of strength and physique and health made it far. Because they get on the treadmill, and it was like the guy who won the treadmill one, using that example, was like a firefighter. So it's somebody who every day just move, like get up and move, right? Does stuff that is just functionally.
You're pulling a hose, you're climbing a ladder, you're
Exactly.
doing.
And so he's like, oh, I got to run for 10 minutes. I can do that. And that was just the one standard set. So yeah, that double standard of what actually is health and fitness, I think, is so important. And yeah, like you said, it's wanting we get so obsessed with wanting to look in shape and not actually be in shape. And I think that's the best way to describe it. You want to be able to pop up and down from the attic and mow your lawn and do whatever as long as you possibly can. And who cares what you look like? You can be heavy. You can be what the doctors call obese, which is like almost everybody now, and be in very great shape. You mean to tell me that a defensive lineman for the Oakland Raiders, because he doesn't have a perfect, you know what I mean? If he has got a belly, if he's not in incredibly good shape, of course he is. He's he's very strong, he's quick, he's agile, he's active, he moves. It's not like he's laying around on a couch all day and everything's going bad. No, and it all comes down to just the very basics of moving our body, prioritizing certain things. And if you spend the whole time focused on your appearance of it, it's very likely that you're going to miss out on a lot of the important things. And like I think about old famous physique competitors, Arnold, Lou Ferrigno, all these big guys or whatever, and it's like and most of them, WWF, WWE, all those wrestlers, they're all roided out and they all have this amazing physique. They all die super early, so they're not healthy. So it's a very blurred line with you. You see somebody who's maybe a little pudgy or chubby in society, like the classic dad bod, and you go, "Oh wow, he's nothing to write home about as far as his physical shape, but he's 65, 70, 80 years old, just living his life still." And the bodybuilder guy died when he was 46 because of all the crap he put into his body. So it's like, well, what do you actually
in order to look healthy, per
right?
se.
And the whole time, anybody who would, if you did a side by side shot, you'd go, "Oh, this guy's way healthier." It's like, no, it's not healthier. This guy's just this guy looks this way. It's a double edged sword. That's what I think a lot of what we personally do at the gym is we really try to focus on the advancement of life, like the best thing in the world. When people lose weight, that's great. That comes with it. When people go, "Oh, my arms look so much better since joining here," that's great. I love hearing that, and anything else. But when people go, "I remember when I couldn't do a burpee. I remember when I couldn't get up and down off the floor. I remember when I couldn't do a box jump." It's like, okay, well, those are measures of a healthy body more so than how defined your shoulders are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They there was a statistic, I forgot what it was exactly, but there's a difference between being, you wanting to lose 10 or 15 pounds and you're completely sedentary, as opposed to you wanting to lose 10 or 15 pounds and you're an active individual. And I forgot the statistic, but they basically took the height and weight of two people. And let's say there was somebody who's 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, and they didn't move a muscle and they're completely lethargic. And there's somebody that's 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, but they go to the gym, 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week. And they said even though those individuals are the same height, they're the same weight, the person that's hitting the gym just internally, I forgot what it was, is like 35% more likely to be carrying on in the later years of their life just from being an active individual. And I think a lot of us get so kind of hung up on the vanity aspect of it, is I need to look good at all times. And like you said a couple podcasts ago, you guys, a lot of us, I mean, on social media, we only see a sliver of what the reality is. People usually only post the good looking shots of them. People only post the good, angles of them when they're completely shredded up, and they kind of don't show you the other side of the coin where they maybe don't look as good, where they're a little bit bloated or a little bit puffy, or they had a long week, or maybe a week they didn't eat that well. And that's the stuff that you don't see. And I think for a lot of people, they just assume, well, 365 days a year, all this person does is does this, and look at how good that they turn out. And there's a whole other side of that coin that people generally don't see or they don't know about. And they just think, well, they're able to do it every single day. They look like this. And usually it doesn't work out that way, especially as you get older. You got days where you eat something and you're like, what the hell? My stomach is bloated and I look like I gained 5 pounds for no reason. But when you can kind of focus on, yes, you're doing this to get healthy. Yes, you're doing this to stay strong. Yes, you're doing this because you want to lose weight or get off that 10 or 15 pounds. Internally, you're doing things that are going to set yourself decades apart from everybody else that's in your age group right now. And it's what you're doing right now, just like we talked about the bank account thing. You're depositing money into that bank account. So in 10, 15 years, when everybody else's bank account is getting depleted, or your body starts to break down, or you start to get problems, you're like, I filled up my health bank account when I was 25 years old, and now I'm 55 years old, and look at how much it's paying off.
Yeah, and sometimes it's I'd love to say I read this study, but I probably saw it on TikTok or Instagram. That's how anybody sees any information. But it was something, it had to do with cancer. It's like the odds of you getting cancer in your life are whatever, and it's some scary high number. But as you age, it gets higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Some type of form of cancer. And then they say that, the entire issue with cancer is, essentially eats your body. And that's broad. There's millions kinds, right? But it's essentially something that is eating your body, right? And so the more muscle we are able to bring into the later years of our life literally increases the odds of us surviving longer. We're holding on to more. And we've said that at age 30, we start to, lose muscle mass. Our muscles start to break down faster. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, every once in a while you'll have a member come in, you go, I don't want to get bulky, or I don't, and they say all these things that, we hear, and we makes us roll our eyes. And we're like, okay, that doesn't happen on accident. You got to put in a lot of work and effort to just look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not just going to pick up a, a barbell and just all of a sudden walk out like this. Like you're okay. But sometimes you just want to, it's like that example of, like, just add muscle because it's healthy. Won't worry about what, we're too focused on the aesthetics and the appearance of it. It's like, no, lifting heavy shit is going to increase your chance of living longer. Is that not enough? It's kind of like be a well-hydrated person. Eat real food. Don't fuel your body on Skittles. You're going to feel better if you eat chicken and broccoli and food that is food. It just, for some people, it just that's not enough to just do it just to do it. It's like when you're kind to someone, are you going to be kind because you might get something out of it? Unfortunately, sometimes, yeah. But sometimes it's just be kind to just be kind. What else are you going to do? Just be an asshole to be an asshole? Be kind to be kind. Lift heavy shit to lift heavy shit. Like, to just keep walking, keep moving, get up and down off the floor so you are able to. Well, what am I getting out of it type of thing. It's like, well, what are we comparing to? If you're comparing to just a longer life and life longevity, is that not enough of a reason to just start doing things? Start giving a shit a little more,
I know. That was like the biggest learning lesson in human behavior that I ever witnessed, was like, even with all the pandemic stuff, and not to turn this into a political thing, but like, when pretty much the consensus across the board was, hey, if you get sick, it's not going to be nearly as bad if you end up taking care of yourself for the next few months, and, walk, exercise, don't fill your body with booze, don't eat a bunch of sugar, don't go through the drive-through every single day, try to keep your body fat low, eat fruits, eat vegetables, and just do the things that you know that your body needs. So if it does come across something, it's healthy, it's strong, and it's able to combat it. And that was like readily available information. And almost everybody did the complete opposite. And I'm like, this says right here, here is your problem. Here is a solution to the problem. If you do this, it will pay off, and you probably will end up being okay. And everybody was, like you said, like, that's not enough for you. That's just to go, yeah, just do this, and things will probably turn out okay. And
But
everybody just kind of threw it by the wayside and said, yep, I don't care. I'm just going to sit at
well,
home, drink all day, go through drive through, order Grubhub. And I'll do that every single day for weeks and weeks and months on end. And I'm like, oh my God, how are you guys
because
doing this? It's not saying you can't enjoy yourself on the weekend, but for
yeah,
the love of God, you have the power, you have the control to change this.
and it becomes the thing that is kind of like the overall. I guess if there was a purpose of this podcast and mindset behind fitness, the overall umbrella is our relationship with hard. It's harder. It would have been harder to not do the DoorDash and the Grubhub and to keep a priority of moving your body. It would have been hard, and it's very common to just find and do the easy route. It's easier to just go home after work. It's easier to have your job, to stay at that same job, even though you're miserable at it for 30 years, and just deal with it because it's not hard. You don't have to meet new people. You don't have to learn a new task. You don't have to meet a new boss and kiss a new boss's ass. You're comfortable. In different parts of our life, it's good to have this comfort, right? Like I'm not going home at night 7:30 and looking for some discomfort. That's I want to just sit there with my wife and watch TV and not care what we look like, talk like we're just chilling. Um, but there's like we almost start attributing that to every single pocket of our life, and it's very easy to like you want easy, you want comfort, but it 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 all stems from that. It stems from like, well, then why aren't you continuing to move your body when you're getting into your later years? Because it's easier not to. Well, why are
Yeah.
you so afraid of like why does it have to be the easy option? Well, it's hard. Like, well, then do hard and just get better at doing hard because then it's
And there's a
not that
time and
hard.
a place for it. And don't feel like we're preaching on you guys going, it's always got to be like, there's a time and a place to chillax, kick your feet up when you earn it, when you did the
Right.
things that you have to do, and you're like, okay, I busted my ass today. It was a good day. I'm going to watch a movie now. But I think for a
Absolutely.
lot of us, we're always seeking, like, how can I take this sliver of comfort and move it into everything else? And eventually you get so damn comfortable with everything that you're like, you like built this castle that you can't escape from. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
stuck in here. I
And
got everything.
a lot of
I'm
people,
comfortable. I'm comfortable. And now my body's gone to crap. I'm exhausted every time. I don't want to do anything because I'm always just in this place of constant comfort. And the minute that gets disrupted, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not in my comfort bubble again. Let's get out of here. Let's go back to where it's comfortable. And you can only do that for so long before the wheels end up kind of falling off.
absolutely.
But that's the big picture, peeps.
Little finding little pockets. But yeah, that physical. I think that was it's so interesting. We started talking about that before we started recording because
I
it's
always think of it like in superhero terms. How there's like all different superheroes with all different builds, but they all have like different powers.
yeah,
Like the Hulk is just really, really strong. Thor is strong, but he can kind of run. Spider Man can jump and leap and do all this stuff, and he's still strong. So it's like,
he's
okay,
wispy.
what is the one that you want to be? Do you want to be fast? Do you want to be agile? Do you want to be strong? Where you're kind of well rounded? Do you just want to be strong? Do you want to forget this? But you have to think long term. And is this something I'm going to be able to keep up with when I'm 30, 40, 50 years old? And if it's something that you can say yes to, then you probably found that right fit where you don't want to have busted up shoulders, a screwed up back, and all that stuff because you were trying to, wreck yourself in the gym every day, so to speak.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
But that's it, peoples.
the balance.
You got anything, Evie
Yeah.
boy?
No, it's just yeah. it's doing things with the right intention, right? Doing things to be like, oh, okay, well, I just want to be a healthy person. End of everything else. I don't care what I look like, what it appears like, what this is. It's like, this is good for me. It's good for me
Yeah.
to pick up that kettlebell right now. I don't feel like it. It's better for me, so I'm just gonna do it. And then and this is just all talking physical, which is good because we spend a lot of the podcast talking about the mental aspect of it all, which is very good. But I'm not going to get into it because I'm glad that this was really focusing on the physicalness of it. But if you tie in that physicalness with just the mental advantage you get every day from doing something hard in the gym, like there's a kettlebell sitting there, I got 15 minutes before the baby wakes up, I should do a little 12-minute circuit here with this kettlebell. I really should. Or I just stay here watching this same rerun of The Office and scrolling on my phone, doing the same crap, feeling more and more tired. It's like if you can win that little 12-minute battle, 5-minute battle, which we talked about, do all of these things, it's just your mental health is going to be elevated so much more. And you can, I mean, it's just, I just hope that adheres with people. I hope they do it.
And like, I've done it too, where it's been like the 12, 15 minutes, and I'm like, I should do some push ups or go for a walk outside. And then you see the clock switch to 11 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
9 minutes, and you're like,
Out of
shit,
time.
now we don't have enough time. And you kind of like already have like a defeated like mindset where you're like, God, I shouldn't have done this. That
Yeah.
sucks. And you kind of, shit
It's
on
all
yourself
stuck.
a little bit.
It
Where
all
if you can
stacks
just,
against you, little by little.
yeah,
It's just stacking against you, and like you gotta. It's just finding those little wins, just a little accomplishment, just a little challenge, just a little win. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge for everything, for your whole general self-esteem. And it sounds like something so stupid. Like, why would changing the laundry right now be that beneficial to my health? It's like, well, it's not. But if you don't, it also means you didn't do anything all day, and all that negative chatter. It's the negative chatter winning over and over. It's like, stop it. Take control. And yes, something as trivial as cleaning out the refrigerator can literally turn a day, which could turn a week, which could turn a life around. Like it's giving a little bit of effort and doing something just because it's okay that it's not the easy way. It's annoying, but I'm doing it anyway.
1% changes.
Yeah,
They make a lot of difference.
definitely.
Now, here's this killer segue. If you need a 1% change in your life,
Yeah.
core4supplements.com. As you guys know, like we've talked about in this podcast, getting healthy, moving your body, all that stuff, you got to do it. It's something that we have to do. But if you're not putting the right things inside of your body to complement that, there's that thing that you can't outtrain a bad diet. So if you need help with your diet, with your nutrition in terms of your protein intake, if you're not getting enough greens in your diet, if you need to hydrate more, if you're a little bit low on electrolytes, if you need a little pick-me-up before you get to the gym, we have you covered. If you go to core4supplements.com, we have all of that. We have whey protein, we have vegan protein, we have BCAAs, we have pre-workouts, we have crazy pre-workouts, we have pre-workouts that are better for high-intensity interval training like we do at the gym. And we have a green supplement where if you know that you're not getting enough greens day to day, which is most people, it gets you your daily allotment of greens, and all you do is take a little scoop, pour it in your water, shake it on up, and it tastes pretty darn good. Our kids will even drink it. And if you're a podcast listener, whatever you get, guys, if you type in the code word podcast at the checkout, you will save 10% off of everything. And if you spend over $100, you also get free shipping on everything. So if you guys want to get a couple things, pretty much the free shipping will happen over $100. And then if you don't get it, then the 10% usually takes care of the taxes and any extra shipping stuff that might occur. So, and the best of all, it will be delivered right to your doorstep, and you don't have to travel to our gyms as well. So one more time, core4supplements.com. But other than that, peoples, last week of March, It's going to be spring soon.
It's going to be Easter this weekend. Insane.
I know. And then hopefully the sun will shine.
I hope.
But we'll see. Every day is a damn mystery in this state.
I hope.
But that is all, peoples. We love you guys. Behave yourselves. Keep your butts moving. And we shall see you all next week. There they are. Balloons. Didn't even do it. It just knows. All right, guys. See ya.
I knew we'd get them.